I enjoy games with a good story, and so when my pal Jares told me he had been playing Thalassa, Edge of the Abyss, and explained the plot, I was intrigued. Being that the game was only $15, I decided to go ahead and purchase it, and I'm glad I did, as I thoroughly enjoyed figuring out the mystery of the Thalassa. Let's back up a bit. In Thalassa, Edge of the Abyss, you play as a diver named Cam aboard the titular ship. You, along with a fellow female diver named Alex, along with some other crew, are attempting to retrieve the sunken ship St. Catherine. A catastrophe befalls the team, and they must abort the mission. Fast forward a bit, and you'll find out that on a subsequent mission that you were not a part of, the Thalassa itself sank. It's your task to go down to the wreckage and attempt to piece together the mystery of what exactly happened to the ship. From here on out, I'm going to try to give as few spoilers as possible. Being that this is an adventure game where the gameplay focuses simply on finding clues and solving burning questions regarding the fate of the cursed ship, there may be some things said by me or viewed in the footage that might be considered a plot reveal, so do keep that in mind. At the start of the game, Cam is aboard the Thalassa when it's still in functioning, floating condition. It's here where you are given the rundown how to play. You walk around, and in your mind are solving mysteries that present themselves, such as coming up with a new dive plan to better recover the St. Catherine. After a horrible tragedy occurs, and the ship is found to be turned into fish homes, you begin the real meat of the game, and dive back in to continue finding clues. The game plays like an old-school adventure game. You lumber slowly aboard the sunken ship to try and find items that seem to be out of place. These may be in the forms of letters in the garbage, a bottle of heroin floating around, a wax roll for a phonograph you find early on, or tools with markings on them, to name a few. The game helpfully puts a small blip on any item that you can interact with, provided that you are within a reasonable range of the object. This helps to alleviate any frustration of not seeing important stuff that you are supposed to be looking at. Also, I should note that, per the game, difficulty levels help these objects stand out a bit more, so although I haven't tested it, playing it on an easier difficulty may make plot essential items stand out a bit more, with possibly the harder difficulty not having this feature. In addition, you do get a map of the ship. Although I didn't realize it until about 3/4 of the way into the game, the map also helps ensure that you don't get completely lost by highlighting rooms of importance. You have critical rooms, which tended to be the ones you needed to reach to progress the main story, and other rooms of interest, which may just have objects needed to solve one of the other many mysteries. By having these rooms highlighted, you never really feel lost, other than remembering how to get to these areas, due to much of the ship's pathways being blocked by wreckage. I should mention how these mysteries are presented and solved. As you are journeying through the underwater biome, you'll find things that make you question what happened. By pressing tab, you'll find a flowchart of sorts featuring all of the questions bouncing around in your brain. For example, maybe you found a strange note questioning the competency of the engineer. Now when you hit tab, you'll find that a storyline has been opened for Thomas, the engineer. What you want to do is try piecing together what had happened. By placing clues in the squares, you try solving the mystery. There is no penalty for guessing incorrectly, so you can just keep trying until you get it right. Helpfully, the mystery box will glow gold when you have all of the pieces of the puzzle, so you don't have to worry about wasting your time trying to figure it out when you don't have all of the clues. There are a few times where you cannot proceed into the next room until the central plotline has been solved. This is told to you through a simple text display when you attempt to leave an important room, such as, "I should figure out what happened here first." This doesn't happen often, but it does tend to help make sure that you don't go too far into the game without solving anything, as well as keeping the storyline on the rails. Even with this, though, the game's pacing is steady yet slow. This is because you are an early 1900s diver trekking deep underwater. Normally, it would bother me that there wasn't a run button, but in this case, it helps lend to the overall phenomenal atmosphere presented in Edge of the Abyss. You'll see small fish, floating debris, and bubbles as you explore the beautifully crafted environment. In addition, the aforementioned wax rolls, which are normally interviews conducted by a journalist on the ship, help expand the lore and further build the mystery and connection of all of the characters aboard the ill-fated Thalassa. Also, when solving some of the mysteries, you are shown a small scene consisting of silhouettes of the characters to help visualize what had happened. Oddly, Cam says afterwards, "Yeah, that's how it must have happened," like he was there. It's kind of silly to have that kind of phrasing in absolute certainty, but hey, it works. Not everything is perfect with Thalassa, though. There are times in which you'll need to backtrack the rooms to find clues that weren't previously available to you, even though they should have been in clear view. I get it. This is because Cam wasn't currently looking for this stuff, like a page containing a combination for a lock, but it is kind of annoying. Also, I did have a few performance issues with the game. Sure, my PC is starting to get a bit up there in age, but I feel like it should have been able to handle Thalassa with ease. Yet no matter what settings I used, I frequently ran into frame rate drops. It's not game breaking, but a bit of optimization would have went a long way. Even with the unsteady frame rate, I had a lot of fun with Thalassa Edge of the Abyss, and was determined to see the game through, as I was truly engrossed. Solid gameplay is mixed with an amazing atmosphere and engaging story. I wouldn't call this a horror game, but being alone in the deep sea with only your partner talking to you from time to time is unsettling. And when I did get to the end, you find that the story is recapped to you, something I kind of wish more games did. I do have one pressing question though. How did the ink on the pages not wash away in the water? You can grab all objects with no problem, and none of them disintegrate when you touch them. Oh well, I guess they just made better quality paper and ink in the early 1900s. Joking aside, I absolutely love this game. For the $15 I spent, the 8-hour journey was worth every penny. Final score? 6 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.